Some people from our church group were asking, how do I sit there and have a dishwasher, uh, living pretty much off the grid? So I thought I'd give a tour of the well house and the water system, kind of explain it. So this is the well pump. Water pumps up, goes to a bladder tank in the back, approximately 1,500 gallons. And then the water returns from the bladder tank right here and goes to the pressure pump, goes to 85-gallon tank that works like a capacitor. And then so it's actually split. You guys are able to control the camera and you can zoom in and out and see. So you don't have to wait for me to move the camera. But you can see that it splits right here. So it's going to the tank and to the sediment filter and the rest of the process. So this is the sediment filter that comes after the pressure pump. There's two pumps. So I guess let me backtrack and say there's a float valve, two float valves in the back, one for controlling the well and then the other for controlling the pressure pump. So when it's high enough, it shuts off the well. When it's low, then it shuts off the pressure pump. And then let me see, sediment filter, I'm going to replace that because going into a new month, going from July to August. Normally I would sit there and just run the water to clean the sediment filter. And so I do that 3 times a month. And then on the 4th, or if it's the 1st of the month, then I'll sit there and swap out the sediment filters, and I'll use vinegar and water and a toothbrush to sit there and clean that. So it goes, so we're back to bladder tank, pump, kind of like a capacitor, 85-gallon tank that helps keep a constant pressure, sediment filter, ultraviolet, water softener with salt. So I do about a 44-pound bag of salt each month that I add approximately. After the softener, then carbon filter, and then goes to everywhere else. And then inside, I sit there and go RO. So in my kitchen for my drinking water and for ice cubes, then it's a reverse osmosis. So I'll sit there and pretend that, it's any other weekend. Saturday is usually when I like to come do this. And I'll turn it on and I'll let it run. The pump will come on. And I wait until the pump finishes. Part of the reason why I do is because I noticed that some of the stuff in the sediment filter kind of gets jostled and flushed when the pump is actually running. And so that's why I like to just turn on, let it run, pressure pump come on, and then blow out some of the gunk from the sediment filter on a weekly basis. And then when the pump finishes and reaches back to the pressure that it's trying to keep, which is, I guess it's trying to keep at 60-ish. Then when it's there is when I will turn the sediment filters drain off. And then after that finishes, I'll also document swapping the filters, the sediment filters, and also show just adding a bag of salt. So really, there it is right there. Really nothing amazing, but yeah, so wait for this. Okay, it's finished. Boy, I need to fix that. That's not cool. Anyways, it's finished. So that's demonstration of what it looks like when I am doing a sediment flush. So for my monthly, since we're coming into August, this is how I will sit there and swap out. Okay. Okay. So I turn off my supply from the pump. I also turn off the house. So right now I've got just the water that's here in between the carbon filter and the sediment filter. And then we'll start to unscrew it. Kind of hear the gurgle, see the water drop. Okay, so that's that. Now I grab my clean sediment filter. Oh boy, That one is fresh. Okay. Okay, stick this one in. I need to scrub. I didn't bring a sponge to sit there and scrub. So I'm going to go do that. Let me go grab a sponge real quick so I can scrub the inside of this, since it is got a lot of gunk built up. And then I'll be right back. All right, so I went and I borrowed some kitchen tools and from my wife, and carried it out looking very cute with the egg basket. So let's see. Sit there and scrub on this. Okay, pretty good. Not bad. Wife was asking if I wanted to use a toothbrush, and I'm like, no. If I use a toothbrush, I'm going to be here until like next month trying to clean this whole thing. Alright, knock off all the gunk. Okay. Throw the sediment filter screen in.
Is the water off?
Okay, so the natives are getting restless in the house. So everybody wants their water. So sit there and screw back in. Okay. Now, I do have this tool. Thankfully, I barely ever have to use it. I bet it is actually in line with the hose, so if I need to, I can sit there and grab on if it ever gets stuck. So, thankfully, I very rarely ever have to use it. I can usually, without any pressure, I can usually just manhandle this. So, that's it. Sediment filter. I showed you guys how the sediment filter gets cleaned weekly or monthly. In this case, I actually did both. Also covered for swapping it. It's really nice to have two screens, so totally recommend that if you're wondering. It only comes with one. The reason that I have a second one is because I got a defective unit that I actually had to end up using a Dremel on to pull out, and actually you know, got it replaced under warranty, and they were like, well, do you want to just throw it in the trash? I'm like, no, let me carve this thing open, because it was fully locked. Like, actually all the braids started tearing off when I was trying to use every which plumbing tool that I've got trying to open it. And anyways, this got replaced under warranty. So, you know, they were like, I was like, I'd like the sediment filter that's inside. So they let me keep it. I got to keep it, and it had to, like I said, I had to sit there and take my Dremel and cut this thing, make all these notches. It's very thick plastic. And anyways, then I sat there and just swapped the screens. So let's fire this back up, turn on the water. Oh. Close that. There's that. And then there you go. So you can hear all the water, see some sediment blowing around. Flush it a little, get some of that gunk out that's there that I had scrubbed. And that's that. Okay, so all that's left for well house maintenance is, open this. Wow, pretty low actually. Yeah, for kicks, I might actually put in a second bag. Let's see how much. On average, it's one bag. So I've got August, September, October, November. Or I could go and say September, October, November, December. I'm actually going to throw in another bag because it is pretty low. So I've had to use a lot more water than normal. We're in the middle of a really terrible drought. Really terrible drought. So I have to run a lot of well water, having to use a lot more water for the chickens, and actually just go in and kind of make a little mud bath for the chickens, since we've lost some to the heat, and trying to save the rest. And then we're also hatching more right now. We've got approximately 30 more chicks on the way, so that's exciting. And then yeah, so there's been more than usual strain on the well. For watering, like anything around the house, we actually normally use rainwater. So the rainwater is almost fully out, so it's kind of like, okay, well, now nothing around the house is really getting watered. A little bit of water on the trees and stuff. All the grass is dead. This is like the difference between living out here versus like some neighborhood. It's such a disconnect from Earth when you're in a neighborhood where you've got just being micromanaged by like an HOA forcing you to water your lawn when we're at like record lows. Like, since I am scared to death of running out of well water, then that's why we're trying not to. And then, like I said, we're already out of rainwater, so now like the grass is dead, and that's just how it is. So. Okay, pretty good. I think throwing another bag would probably be overkill. I've got about a half an inch of water above the salt right now, so that's good enough for me. And that's it. And then I guess last of the tour, the UV bulb gets replaced once a year. So that's kind of it for the well house. So hopefully if y'all are wondering how it's set up and how I have a dishwasher that runs and cleans my dishes, since ordinarily well water destroys things like that, as well as coffee makers and whatever else, then this is it. This is how we sit here and have the modern living, you know, while being almost fully off the grid.